What's up, YouTubers? It's your girl Shannon from Evie and Chill, and today I'm going to share with you some recent thoughts I've had on electric vehicles. So let's go ahead and let's hop inside the Rivian. But first, I have to point out we are sharing our filming parking lot with the Cox truck. Okay, you have to be pretty ballsy to name your company Cox. But let's go ahead, let's hop inside the Rivian. Thank goodness for Neil mode, people, because as my belly is getting bigger, it is getting a little difficult to get in. Take a look here. It is growing, people. It is getting bigger and bigger. Do you see this? I know. Is it Taco Tuesday or is it a baby? It's looking more and more like a baby. I actually had a friend ask me the other day. She said, I think she was being sweet, but she said, do you feel so empowered and fulfilled being pregnant? And let me give you just a quick little glimpse into the life of pregnancy. I appreciate the sentiment, empowerment, fulfillment, joy, bringing life into the world, all that jazz. Okay, here's the deal, people. If you want to know what it feels like to be pregnant, next time you're in your local grocery store, hit up the produce section. Here's what you do. Grab yourself a watermelon, strap it to your belly. Grab yourself 2 cantaloupes, strap it to your chest. Instant boob job. But here's what you do. Just go about your normal daily routine. Here's what I mean, people. Bend down, tie your shoes. See how empowered you feel. Or just stand inside your shower and see how much room you have lost because of your growing belly. And here's another one, people. Because you're pregnant, you're going to be peeing 1,000 times a day. Just try to get up off the toilet by yourself and then come back and tell me how empowered you feel. Let me tell you, by the end of the night, people, when my husband is helping me get up off the couch, it does not feel that good. It does not. What it really feels like, instead of empowerment vibes, I'm getting more Shamu vibes. Like, you know, when you're at SeaWorld, like, I am Shamu and y'all are in the splash zone. So watch out. Yeah, now the fulfillment part, I mean, hopefully we should have a really cute baby at the end of this. Let me show you our latest ultrasound picture. Where is it? Here it is. And I'm like out of breath constantly. Like, this baby is not only tap dancing on my bladder, but it is like pushing up on my lungs. Okay. Oh, also, before I show you, this might be like, let me give you a warning here. Normally at an ultrasound, you get like the cute little profile picture, right? Like, oh, look at my cute little butt and nose. This time the baby was moving around like so much, we got a full face picture. It looks a little creepy. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a face only a mother could love. Do you see that? Okay, so we are still developing some of those cute little features. Yeah, it looks a little creepy, but I figure with my genetics, the baby's gonna be coming out looking like a little model, just like J3 did. We're just still on our way to get there. We're kind of half-baked right now. Okay, so that is the pregnancy update. And also, I am so hot all the time, people. Oh my gosh, if this is what menopause feels like, count me out. I'm not doing it. All right, this is what I wanted to talk with y'all about today. Now, y'all know that we have owned a lot of EVs, and we've owned EVs for a few years. So I still kind of have to, like, I guess just giggle when I come across like articles or news clippings or even just people that I meet who still have kind of like an archaic or antiquated view of what EVs are. I mean, it's 2023, people. So this is what I did just the other day. I just Googled the words electric vehicle. Just Googled that. And then, you know, you have like the related searches that come up. And one of the top related searches was, what are 5 reasons electric vehicles are bad? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go over those reasons, and I'm going to share with you why I think that this is just a little bit antiquated. A lot of it I think is kind of untrue today, or also there could be a few things that maybe still apply. So let's jump right in and let's talk about numeral uno. EVs are too expensive. I don't know if people have realized this or not, but there are some pretty expensive ICE vehicles out there. Actually, the most expensive vehicle in the world, and I'm going to try to say this correctly, is the Bugatti La Voiture Noire. Okay, side note, I took 7 semesters of French and I think I might have butchered that. But the Bugatti has a price tag of 18.7 million. Yes, people, 18.7 million. Now, I realize it's a Bugatti. Like, is a price tag justifiable? Probably. I mean, I would love to own that, put that in my little car collection. But again, basically, I know some of you guys think like, well, that's a really dramatic example. Well, cool your exhaust, people. My point here is that there are ICE vehicles and EVs that can both be pretty pricey. And with both ICE and EVs, the price is going to depend on a variety of factors. I mean, range, size, luxury features, all of those things come into play. But right now, let me just let you in on a little info here. The least expensive EV on the market right now is the Chevy Bolt, coming in with a price tag of $27,495. And hold your horsepower, people, because don't forget about that possible $7,500 tax credit that the government is offering. So whoever said the government was good for nothing? But it is true, just like ICE vehicles, there are EVs that cost over $100 grand. I'm looking at you, Tesla Model X, that I would also love to own. And I've kind of noticed that in my own experience. Like when people hear we drive a Tesla or they see us roll up in one, I think there might be like a price misconception there. So they think they kind of cost more than they do, when in reality, a Tesla starts at $42,000. So it's nothing too crazy. And again, that's not even factoring in that $7,500 tax credit, which I'm no mathematician, but I think that would bring the Tesla down to like roughly 35 G's. So that's really nothing crazy. But here's something else to consider. Kelley Blue Book states that the average new car costs $49,500. So again, the Tesla Model 3 is costing less than the average new car. So that's just a little something to consider in the memory bank there. Obviously, I think that point is a little antiquated. Number dos, charging takes too long. Okay, now this one, I totally get where they're coming from. The truth is, it's just faster to fill a gas tank than it is to charge an EV. It just is. Like it's literally 5 minutes at this gas pump versus maybe spending 20 minutes at the charger. Now for us, that 20 minutes isn't really a big deal for my family, and let me explain why. If we're charging at a charger, that typically means we're on a road trip. And if I'm on a road trip, that means I'm gonna need to stop to use the restroom or to get some snacks or some drinks anyway. So by the time we're done, like that 20 minutes is over. Like by the time we get back to the car, we're at 80% battery in those 20 minutes, and we're ready for the next leg of our trip. Now, I do want to point something out here again, because we're typically only at those charging stations if we're on a road trip. Otherwise, we charge at home, which in my humble opinion, people, it is superior to going to a gas station. Kind of for a few reasons here. I mean, if you think about it, when you charge at home, it takes like 2 seconds to plug in at night. You charge overnight, you take 2 seconds to unplug it in the morning. And that kind of like negates the 5 minutes I would spend at a gas station anyways. Like that's only 4 seconds. Okay, but also here's another reason charging at home is superior, and why charging at superchargers are superior. Superchargers, in my own opinion, they're just less icky. Let me show you. Okay, here we go. I haven't been to a gas station in forever, but here we are. I'm doing this for you people. Less icky. Look, do you see those like oil spots there? It's icky. What do I smell? Gas. That's really gross. I don't want to smell that. And when I'm at a supercharger, like the superchargers look cleaner, they're already connected to like my credit card or my app, so I don't have to worry about skimmers, like getting my information. I don't have to touch a yucky pin pad or this icky thing. Really, I think there's only one thing the gas station is good for. Slushies. And if you think blue is not the best flavor, you're wrong. Okay, let's get slushy and then we'll continue this conversation. And again, charging at home is just way more convenient. It's like every morning I wake up with a full tank of gas. Also, a lot of areas when you travel, they offer free charging. And I don't know about you, but I've never seen a gas station give out free gas before. Moving on down the list here, the next point is that EVs don't have enough range. Take a look right there. But here's what I'd have to say. Just like any ICE vehicle, range is going to be like varying based upon different factors. The vehicle size, the battery size, or in some cases, the gas tank size. Some ICE vehicles have a 12-gallon gas tank, some go up to 16, some can hold over 30 gallons of gas. And of course, that's going to affect how far you can drive. Now, for example, in the Rivian that we're in right here, it has a range of 313 miles, and that's in conservative mode. And we're on 34-inch all-terrains. Let me show you. Take a look at these tires, people. They are not the most efficient tires, but boy, do they look good. Look at those. They look beefy. They look meaty. They have some good tread on them. Now, again, are they the most efficient? No, but just like anything else, I love it because of how it looks. I know your mama said it's the inside that counts, but the outside counts for a lot of things here. I mean, I love my husband and he has a great personality, but if he wasn't hot on the outside, then I wasn't gonna get to know how sweet the inside was. Okay, so again, 34-inch all-terrains, not the most efficient, but again, 313 miles in this vehicle. Now, my Model Y Performance has a range of 303 miles. And let's talk about the Cybertruck. Okay, so the Cybertruck, obviously this is not it because it has not been built yet. I know that's the little caveat there. But they are boasting a range of 500 miles. Now, that's with the tri-motor, of course, but that is super impressive, whether you compare that to ICE vehicle standards or EV standards. So if you look at the performance numbers of both my Rivian and my Performance and you compare it to the ICE vehicle like counterparts or equivalents, my vehicles are still actually faster, which is really cool. And for instance, if you were going to compare maybe my Model Y Performance to the BMW X3M, so something comparable, that has a range of 292 miles. So I feel like the range argument isn't really applicable anymore. Now, the next point we hear is that there's nowhere to charge. Cue charge port door opening. Okay, and to that I'd have to say, well, actually, like, I spend most of my time charging at home, and that's really more convenient than like going to a supercharger or a gas station if I had an ICE vehicle. Now, that being said, we do travel a lot, so we do have to use like third-party chargers. And I have run into issues where those third-party chargers have just not worked for me. And to be honest, it sucks. There's no other way to say it. Like, that has sucked. It has happened to us. It is not good. Okay, so that being said, let me divide this down into two categories. First being Tesla superchargers. Now, with Tesla superchargers, they have always worked for us, and they are super plentiful across America. They're conveniently located off of like most major highways. I know this because we have traveled across the country and we have utilized these superchargers, again, seamlessly. And another cool thing about when you travel in a Tesla is that when you type in your destination on a road trip, it will tell you where and when to stop and charge, which is so convenient. And what's even cooler is that as you get closer to that supercharger, your battery will start to warm itself, so that ensures you get the most efficient charge when you actually plug into the supercharger. Now, let's talk about them third-party chargers. And for the third-party chargers, I have to say things are actually improving. Over the years since we've owned EVs and we've used third-party chargers, I myself have seen improvement in them. They are definitely getting better, and they are also becoming more plentiful. First in your more like heavily populated areas, but we've also seen them a lot more in smaller areas and towns also. And again, the good news is that they're becoming more common. They're creating more each month. It's only expanding the network. I mean, you can take a look here on the PlugShare app here, and if you have an EV and you don't use the PlugShare app, I'm not affiliated with them, but it's definitely a beneficial app to have, so be sure to download that. But take a look here. There are more and more chargers popping up everywhere. Now, if you live in like Alaska or maybe like the upper Midwest, sure, they might not be like as prevalent yet, but again, they're on their way. And another really great thing is that Tesla is opening up their supercharger network to non-Teslas now. Not everyone does it yet, but they're on their way to opening them up, and you can just charge at a Tesla network, which only increases your options. So to that point where there's nowhere to charge, that's just invalid nowadays. Now let's talk about probably the number one reason I hear people are against EVs, and that is they think their electricity bill is just going to skyrocket. Now, it's true your electricity bill will go up. I mean, electricity isn't free, but also neither is gas. So let me share with you how much I've paid for my 2 vehicles over the past month. $220. That's it, people. And let me break that down even further for you. Let me give you our mileage recap. I drove about 1,300 miles in the Rivian and about 1,000 miles in the Tesla. So according to my calculations, $220 for 2,300 miles is not that bad. I think that's significantly cheaper than an ICE vehicle, actually. So bottom line here is an EV still saves you money. Now the last reason, or the 5th reason people don't like EVs, is because they think the batteries wear out and they're expensive to replace. Spoiler alert here to anyone who owns an ICE vehicle, but things are gonna wear out and they're gonna need replacement for your ICE vehicle anyways. I'm talking new engine, alternator, carburetor, radiator, catalytic converter. I mean, the more I'm naming things, I'm actually kind of realizing, and take a look with me here as I pop my hood. By nature of just being an ICE vehicle, they have more parts. And since my EV has less parts, that's just less things to replace. I mean, there's no engine in there. It's just storage room. So again, less things that's gonna need replacing. But again, EVs, going back to the battery part of it, is true. EVs have batteries and those batteries can wear out and need replacing. Just like when my son's flashlight runs out of juice, I'm gonna run down to CVS and get him some more Duracells. Now that being said, EV batteries, they are a little bit more costly than my AA's. And this is a big truck. EVs are not small like a flashlight. Batteries are gonna cost more. Batteries are projected to cost anywhere from $4,000 to $20,000. But before you get your panties tied up in a knot, let's take a look at how long those batteries should last you. Your batteries are projected to last anywhere from 15 to 20 years or 200,000 to 300,000 miles. Now, I don't know about you, but personally, I will have sold both of my current vehicles long before I reach those numbers. And you probably will too. I mean, the average length of car ownership is 8 years. So for me, that's not really a cost I anticipate paying. And the good news here is that full battery replacements are not typically necessary. And as technology just continues to advance, the cost of replacing batteries is gonna go down too. So ultimately, EV ownership actually costs less than owning an ICE vehicle. Really, I've owned 8 EVs myself from 6 different manufacturers, and I've had 0 issues with batteries or the electric motors. So the argument that like batteries will die or even the motors will die, I just haven't experienced that firsthand at all. In fact, kind of the opposite. When we did have issues, it was with our ICE vehicles. In fact, the only issues we have with our EVs is that we have to remember to replace the windshield wiper fluid every few months. But again, that's about it. So in my opinion, EV ownership, it costs less and it's just a lot easier in the long run too. But again, these are just my thoughts and my humble opinion. If you have anything to add, be sure to drop it in a comment below. That's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.